Revealing John's Truthful Words, Part 23, and I'm going to start at chapter 14, verse 11. Now, this text here is separate from the text above, so I don't need to share with you the verses above. But this group right here is going to be removed, for none of it is really true. Because Jesus is saying, I am in the Father and the Father is in me. I've already taught about no Trinity, so and then it's kind of like he's saying, well, if you don't believe me, believe the works themselves. Well, that wouldn't be true. That doesn't help you anyway, because you need to go to heaven is the goal here. And then he's restating that if who believes in me shall he do also and greater works than those that shall he do. So all this means is there's somewhat that others we know have not done this, so we know that Jesus wouldn't have said that. And ask in my name and I will do, and the Father may be glorified by the Son. We cannot glorify our Creator. We don't even understand the awesomeness of our Creator, so how can we glorify Him? And then if you ask me anything, I will do it. We know that's not true. Instead of putting the word they, I'm using whoever follows me, not loves me, but follows me, because you can love Jesus, but you don't do everything. But if you follow Jesus, whoever follows Him, follows me would be first person, will obey my commands. Now, not keep them, but obey them. You will keep all of them, but you will obey them. It's kind of like me saying that you know it, but you didn't do it. Example, like people know there's commandments, yet they don't do them. So the object is to obey them. Now, this verse here is straight out of the New American Standard, 1977, as all the text is. And what I'm going to do is go over with the editing that needs to be edited, because it needs to be shown so I can show you that why I'm removing words or adding words. For I will ask our Father. That's pretty simple, okay? Don't need that. And He will give, not so much that, He will ask our Father, and don't need that, to give them, not you, but them, because He's talking about the future. And that's not another. Just like the text was saying above, that those others will do more than Jesus. Well, we can't have another helper. There's not two Jesuses. There's no two kingdoms in heaven. So this has to be about a helper. And by His help, not that I added the word help because we have to describe the helper as what He's doing, and He's going to be known as the helper because He helps. And it's not about may. Jesus would not use the word may again. I will be with them forever. Jesus is talking about the future, about this helper who's going to come, and He will then help them forever. And so I guess we got to get into more of the verses here. Now, again, this is another verse, and I'm going to correct it right here. The Spirit of truth, well, it has to be the helper that He's talking about. The helper will be with them forever, and I will be with them forever. The Spirit of truth, it has to be added that He will have a soul for truth. Okay, so the one who is coming has a soul for truth. The word Spirit, like I said, has been told to you that it's about our Creator's words prophesying out through your mouth or being said or send you thoughts. Now here I'm going to show you in the King James down here that, let's see, down here, I got it highlighted, a resemblance of a rational being. Well, let's figure out this by saying we don't know if it's rational or not, because we could be talking about it anyway. A resemblance spirit of a being, that is the soul, okay? Let's take a look over here in what they've done in the King James on the Greek side of the words. Here, a rational soul, okay? And then they give you a couple examples of a demon and a spirit. And here, they're saying that they're in their soul that you're seeing, and not the fleshly body, but a soul, but it's a resemblance of them. So we know the difference between an angel and a demon. So now let's go back to the text. So now we have a soul for truth. Now this helper has to have a soul for truth. And some in the world will not receive him. Had to add the word him. Cannot to will not is pretty easy to understand. And because it has to be changed to they, because they cannot observe him. Now I'm adding the word cannot to the text because up here, it does not, okay? Now when it comes to the word behold him, I've changed it to observe, okay? And let me see here in behold him. And when you see the words down here, I am using the common word that they're using, look, beholding, pretty much observe. So when you see the text here and me putting in the word observe him, that's pretty much sticking to me not putting in my want to the word. I want to make sure that's shown to you. But when it comes up to the word nor, I want to show you also the text here, that if I click over here and you got the word no, or, but notice over here, it's used 55 times as the word nor. So again, I'm replacing the word that they would know they could also use. Yet mine will know him because he will. Now the word abides, pretty much the way they have the text, means like remain, the stays. Well, but notice it's living here, okay? And what I did was I changed it to the word live among them. So now you know that the one who has a soul for truth, let's see if I look at it here, he will have a soul for truth, and some in the world will not receive him because they cannot observe him or know him. Yet mine will know him because he will live among them. Okay. And now let's see what I've got here as text. And I will not leave them as orphans. He's talking about in the future because this verse is reading out of order. Somehow a lot of these words are going to be jumbled up, but because I will not leave them orphans, for he will come. I guess if I used these words here and not the end word, I would put the words orphan above the text, above the beginning words that I started here. I will ask our Father, and he will give them a helper. It would be, I will not leave them as orphans because I'll ask him for a helper, our Creator for a helper. So, it just reads a little bit odd. For soon those on earth will not see me anymore. Now here is the word behold. I could observe me anymore. I like the word see or look, will not look to me anymore, or will not see me anymore. Now here it's talking about those at that time. You will behold me because I live with you, and live with you will live also. Now, like I said, these words aren't truthful. I've said this a few times. Because we exist because our Creator exists and we're in His image. Therefore, He is, and now we are. Okay, you're going to live forever, either with our Creator or without our Creator. Now comes these words here. Yet that day, and we're talking about today's date, we're talking about today's date. That or the future. Yet that day they will know I am with our Father. Meaning, once the truth of Jesus is revealed, then those that trust. Let's see, how is it? Those who receive Him, for His soul have truth. Mine will know Him because He will live among them. Now, and you in me and I in you. No, that doesn't, well, that isn't true. So it's in the future, that day, they will know I am with the Father because He's going to have the Spirit for truth of talking about Jesus. Even though you're not seeing all that text yet, I'm going to put it all together here pretty soon because I'm sure it's going to take a second video to get all the text together. But here is another verse that I need to break down. And this verse here, he who obeys not His commandments, but who obeys my commands and keeps them. Yeah, I might need to change that to a capital T because we're talking about His commands. Trusts me, not loves me, but trusts me, because you wouldn't do them if you didn't trust Him that you're going to heaven. Okay. He who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him. I will love him and will disclose myself to him. This is not true. Jesus' teaching is that you have to obey our Creator first before you understand who Jesus is. So you have to know the Hebrew text and His everlasting promises. Once you understand those, then you'll know that about Jesus, because our Father will send you to Jesus once you start believing our Creator exists as a being who created everything. So whoever obeys my commands and keeps them, trust Jesus, because we're trusting Jesus because we're trusting that He is our King in heaven and He's given us more commands. Okay. So, and I will love Him and disclose myself to Him. No, that's already happened because our Father discloses Jesus and then we trust Jesus. So this is not true or needed. Now we have a second Judas in the book, even though I would say that that's not true here. I don't like using words inside the parentheses or arrows or whatever they do to notify that they're finding or adding from other found manuscripts since the time that this text was wrote. Now, Judas is asking him, what then has happened that you are going to disclose yourself to us and not the world? Well, this is talking about this, and I've already told you that that's not true. So this can't be used because we know that our Father reveals Jesus as the more we are obey our Creator. Now, for Jesus to answer them, that wouldn't be true either. So all this is not really needed or true for the simple fact that just by the word disclosing myself, we know that's not right. And Jesus is answering that question. Um, you know, and besides, Jesus and our Creator does not come and abode in Him or live inside you. Anyways, I guess it's pretty much been stated over and over, so it's just a repeat, not needed. Let me get a drink here. I have the very end of my cold here, so my throat's drying out as I talk. It's still doing that. So now when it says these things, I refer to it as what. And what I taught you, not spoken to you, but what I taught you, you are to live by. I'm adding the words you are to live by because that's what pretty much what Jesus has been saying above. So it needs to keep following. Not that, anyways. Now, to the next verse here. My helper, because it's Jesus asking our Father to send him. So it's my helper by his words, not his spirit, but his words, our Father will send him. By his holy words, our Father will send him. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means that our Creator is giving the helper words and then sending them to earth, and it's for my name. I got the words for my name. I guess I should show you. Sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit, but I just know that I'm trying not to concentrate on my dry throat, and it's bothering me. Words our Father will send for my name. The text is more or less, if you clean this up, it says, my helper by his holy words, comma, our Father will send him for my name. Now that reads okay, but when you start the next verse, I'm thinking it's better that it comes down here and reads like this. For my name he will teach you not all, but everything. And by this word all is referring to the Hebrew text as well. Because if you don't know his everlasting promises, you can't just believe Jesus. So he will teach you everything and bring forth their remembrance and bring for their remembrance. Let's see, and bring. Let's see what the word bring here, because let me line it up first. There, finally found it. Oh, don't like this. Okay, here the word bring, and when you see it's being used over here as a double, you see that it only happens once this way, and it says bring to remembrance. So we have the word resemblance. By bringing for their resemblance. By bringing, and this is meaning that, um, and by revealing all the truths about Jesus in the Hebrew side and the Greek side, not all the Greek side, but the 4 books, he will teach you everything by bringing forth their remembrance, the truthful remembrance of what was said. And that is what I'm saying is Jesus's prophecy, that I am the helper. I am bringing forth this true truths from both books, or both the Hebrew and the Greek text, the true truths about Jesus. And by doing this, it's going to be bringing forth their remembrance, the people today, about the words that he has said. The word all, I just changed the word to the word words I have said. This doesn't need to be used, but the thing here is all Jesus's words cannot be truthfully done by me. I was not there. I am given a lot of thoughts, and I go through my thoughts of why I'm changing the text. I go back and forth through the Hebrew text, the Greek text, to show you how these true truths can reveal themselves. But I know that those that were editing the text today and back then are covering up the text. In fact, that's going to come up part of this as what's going on here. And you're going to read it all together when I get done with it, and you'll see that. I think I have to divide that into 2 parts. But here, it's to bring the remembrance of Jesus's words that he has said. Okay. Having to put it in first person needs to have the word have. Now, the word my here is from down here. So I've added it down here. My peacefulness, and it's not peace, it's his peacefulness. Okay. Of showing how he lived his life obedient to our Creator. He was chosen to have a kingdom in heaven forever, and us to be able to serve him in his kingdom. So it's his peacefulness I leave with you, and my peacefulness I will give to everyone. And that means every one of his servants. Should I put servants here? I'll give to everyone of my, I think that has to be added because it doesn't read truthfully without it. Okay. And then give as I gave to you, not give. And let your heart not be troubled, nor let it be fearful of man. Okay, I think that's pretty easy to understand. So let me continue here with, because I'm going to put all these words together, and I've got time, and I also learned that I've gone to 1080p again, so the file sizes will be able to be handled. I just don't know if it's going to be more than 40 minutes here for this video or not. But you have heard my gospel. Now I'm adding the word my gospel because it is Jesus's words are his gospel. Yeah. Now here are some of the verses that have the word gospel in it. Whoops. Actually, that isn't the one I want. I want this one. This is the second part of it. This is the first part of it. And this is where Jesus, if you read some of these, the beginning of the gospel of Jesus, and I wouldn't, this is a title, not his last name. But the other thing here is in the beginning of the gospel of Jesus, this verse tells us Jesus is bringing forth what? And it's his gospel, a word that's going to sum up uh, his teaching or about his kingdom. And here we're going to see that the gospel of my kingdom from God, okay, from YV, okay. And these kingdom from what they've got as titled God is not true. It's his kingdom from YV. And he's going to be proclaiming the gospel of his kingdom to those that are sick. And then he's proclaiming his gospel of his kingdom. Oh, that's a double sentence from two different books saying the same thing. And then his gospel of the kingdom will be preached to the world as a witness to all nations, for all kingdoms, and and then the end shall come. Now, Jesus came to Galilee preaching the gospel, his gospel from our Creator. So this is Jesus teaching us about his more truths, his commands, and example, not only of his kingdom, his second coming, to judge all man on earth. Now, I will go away and I'll come and I'll love you and rejoice because I did not go. You would have rejoiced. This is not really needed to be said at this time because when it says I will go and come, that text is, we already know because of Jesus teaching his second coming in other places. And I don't know why you would be mad. If you loved me, you would have rejoiced. Not mad, but you would rejoice that I went to heaven. Well, I don't think we need that text as it is, because we know that his kingdom is in heaven, and the Father is greater than I. Well, Jesus wouldn't say that. We all know that. So um, that verse is truly not true. Okay, so we don't want to have Jesus being stupid there. And it is now that I tell you before this happens. Now that's talking about what this verse is here. So it has to be kind of looked at separately, um, but but the text is cleaned up here. It tells you before this happens. Okay. And when it comes to pass, you will maybe believe. And notice they have no more words. So what is this? Believe me? Well, the only thing is, um, this here, when it comes, is going to be the next words, because this verse is really out of place. You can see I've got it here, that it belongs down here between these two in the middle of this next group, right here. Okay. I know I got a little ahead of myself, but it was hard to tell you about that verse without letting you know that it's kind of weird because you have heard my gospel, and it is now that I tell you before this happens. I will not speak much more with you, um, for the ruler of the world is coming, and he has nothing in me. Now, there needs to be quite a bit of explaining to clean this verse up, to be truthful. I will not be teaching you much longer. Just as Jesus says that he's going to go and come, this is kind of trying to stay to these words here, but you'll understand a little bit more when I move them around. In fact, if you want to read them, go ahead and read them now. Stop it and take a look at them, and that's how the text is going to read, so you can see that what I've been saying, that's out of place, read pretty good right there. Now, by correcting that, I've made this note here, reads out of place. So now we have the next part of the text to be cleaned up. For the pagans ruling, it says the ruler of the world. Satan is the ruler of the world. This is his domain. Now you know why everything is so stupid down here. But it has to be those working for him, because we already know Satan has tried to deceive Jesus and tricking him by worshiping him. But the object here is I have to put, now the pagans ruling the world will come. Okay, so that's, because what does the word come mean when I got will come? Well, these are the words here that need to be shown to you, because in the concordance, they've taken out a word that is not there, but it is in the concordance. It does happen. It's probably, I know it happened probably about 5 times, but this one I need to go over this one with you. And he has nothing in me. Well, and I show you here, and it has not, and not one will be for me. Now, let me show you before I go too much farther here. Okay. Now, when you see the text over here, when I click on the word has, it shows up here. When I click here, it says the word nothing. Now, when I click on this word, notice it didn't change over here. So when I said there's a word, it's one of these words does not exist in the text today. If we look down here and we see that the word one here is used 450 times, you don't see that in the text above. It says nothing up here. See how it has the word nothing? But the object is has nothing in me. And when you see it over here, I've added the word one right here, got rid of this thing here, because it has to be not one. Now let's go back to the text here and see that it says never, none, no, 147 times. So I'm using the word no to mean not. Okay. So now over here, you know it has, I'm getting rid of this Hebrew word, and not one for me, or not one in me. It has to be will be for me. Now, what okay, what I did here is, you can see that I'm not using the word has, but the word not one will be for me, not in me, but not one will be for me. Example, how many times have I corrected these words to be more truthful? Therefore, when you see the text here, it has to be what Jesus is saying in this verse. Let me get a drink here. And not, let me read it down here. And not one will be for me. Is these people who are editing the text today? If you, this is year 2022, and you will see up to anyone who studies history, there is no nation that is truly going by our Creator's words, nor Jesus's words. And so what we have here is Jesus saying not one will be for him, and they're trying to cover up Jesus to make him a myth. You can go on the internet and go looking around, and you can see that there's many people that doubt Jesus. He's a myth. He never lived. He has wives. He has children. He has all this untruths exist because they are editing. When it says the pagan ruling the world will come and not one will be for me, means just what you're seeing here in the text. It means that all this stuff that you're reading and seeing me clean up truthfully, because I'm the helper with the spirit or the soul or truth, and I'm revealing the true truths about Jesus. So what you're seeing here is that the pagans ruling the world will come, and they did when he left, and not one will be for me because they have covered up the truths about Jesus. I want to show you one quick example. Okay, one quick example. What the heck? Okay, I'm going to show you two examples. This is the 1611 preface to the King James. That means these are the words that the translators put in, and they wanted you to read them. And Gregory is Gregory the Divine. They give the title divine to a guy named Gregory. For you Trinitarians, they're Gregory's divine. Okay. Down here is the example of what major that I'm talking about. It says the first emperor of Rome did never do a more pleasing deed to the learned, not to the believer, not to those that believe our Creator exists, but what they did is he corrected the calendar to the order of the year according to the course of the sun. And they boldly put a capital letter on the word sun. That is their secret writing to say Ra, the sun god. And in the middle of the Vatican courtyard is an Egyptian obelisk. What the heck is that doing there? Well, that's because they don't believe in our Creator. And they corrected the course of the calendar. Means they didn't care that the text no longer reflects our Creator's calendar. Do you know the first day of the first year of our Creator that brought them out as a nation from Israel exists? They've covered it up. But I can tell you it's the summer solstice is the first day of the year. So who had this? Who made it that day at that time? Because you got to realize that when Babylon existed and all of them went to into Babylon, our Creator made himself known to Nebuchadnezzar, just like he did in Egypt, that everybody knew, that the king knew, Nebuchadnezzar knew, that our Creator was the Creator. Okay. And it would have been at his time that he made all Babylon to the calendar of our Creator. But now I'm thinking this is maybe about 400 years later. They're happy that this new emperor changed it back to the course of the sun. Okay. So when you're looking for proofs of what I'm saying here, and the pagans ruling the world will come and not one will be for me, well, they're for the Creator either. Okay. So anyways, I just wanted to let you know that the truths are being revealed here. Now, this verse right here gets stuck right here, okay? Or this verse here. Whoops. So that verse gets stuck down here. And the text will read like this. You have heard my gospel, but now I will not be teaching you much longer. Now I tell you this will happen. The pagans ruling the world will come, and not one will be for me. I wouldn't be editing the text like I am if they had were truly believed Jesus exists. Okay. They don't believe. Take a look at the world that you're living in, even probably in the future. The secular world is just stupid. Okay. They have all these doubts about our creator who created everything. They try to um, deceive you, but the text will not be deceiving for them anymore. All the text will be put together here. Okay. Now I need to quickly go through this. I see I'm at the 40-minute limit. And yet the earth will know I obeyed our Father. After his prophecy, because it's happening in your days, from this day forward, it will slowly grow. And then it will be known to the people always that when they read the text that Jesus obeyed our Father, and our Father give me a command, even though they are coming, I will ascend to heaven, okay? Not I will arise, I will ascend to heaven. Now I will ascend from here. So he's talking to them at this time. He's told them this, and then he's going to ascend. Now this text is reading out of place as well, because this text is going to be some of the very last text that he says, that when he meets them again, and then he goes on and tells them, here, I am the true vine for our Father, the truth vine. I'm sorry, I'm changing the word truth to true vine. And the truth is about our Creator's truths in the Hebrew text. So he can't be the true vine. He has to be the truth vine for our Father. And as a vine pruner, he is pruning every branch that does not bear grapes. In other words, it's not fruits. Grapes grow on a vine, but the object here is these grapes are actually servants, okay? And I've got servants down here, added here, but Jesus has a parable here, speaking in a parable, and then finishing up, I made sure that we understood that it's servants here. And I will not take away, I will remove every branch that does not bear grapes. This would be every father, son, father, son, father, son, father, son, father, son of this branch. If it's broke, that's broke, and not be a branch for him. Now, if he prunes it right, then there will be a son that comes along. Then the branch will start again, and a father will then pass all this information to his children, and to bear more servants for me. Okay, if here's what I'm saying is what the text is reading as. For I am the truth vine for our Father, and as a vine pruner, I prune every branch that does not bear grapes, and I will remove every branch that does not bear grapes. I prune to bear more servants for me. That's the answer. Now let's do a quick review here, and I'm going to make the text smaller. Here you can take a screenshot and read the text as it reads now. And when you put those two together and you read, this is the first teaching about the helper. So there is a better text that will be shown. And when you see them line up, you'll see that a lot of the corrections I've done here, you'll see that a lot of them are also in the next text or the next, I hope it's video because I know there's going to be a small section. No, it's going to be the video after this one that will be shared with the second part for the helper.